Okay, so what do I mean when I say that you need to play the corporate game to survive corporate and you want us to talk about it? So let's get into it. Please note that I am not a corporate expert. I'm just sharing my experience, things that I've observed over the times, and just my personal spin or thoughts on it. So imagine you walking into a room, and in this room, there's a table, and there are people sitting around the table playing a game. Now, as you are entering this room and you see these people playing a game, they are playing the corporate game. Here is what you need to do when you are about to take a seat at this table. Okay, so you need to note the following things. When you get there, you need to be aware of these following people, these following things. One, identify the teacher's pet, the person that is liked by the manager, the person that is going over and above, basically who see themselves as like the manager and they can do no wrong. You need to note the big players or the people that are at the head of the table. These would mostly be people in management. So your boss's boss, your boss, and so on and so forth. You need to be very aware of who these people are. You need to be aware of the people that are in the running of for a promotion or like a big move in that space or in the career that could affect you or your job. You need to be aware of those people and know who they are. You need to be aware of the people that are you need to be aware of the people that are not playing fair. Yes, this game is not going to be fair, but there is an intentional not playing fair that can come into play where people are vindictive, manipulative, they would stab you in the back and throw you under the bus. You need to know these people, especially if you're going to be working very closely with these people. You need to be aware of who that person is or who those people are so that you always know and have your guard up around them and you always protect yourselves. You protect yourself when you are interacting with them. Yes, this game is exhausting. I completely agree, but they're just these tools to really help you to survive. You need to note the dynamics between those that are doing their job really well, but they are not being rewarded, and those that are doing like the bare minimum or even less than the minimum, but they are getting and being afforded all these opportunities. You need to be aware of those people. You need to be aware of the people that are getting exploited. This could be difficult to note, but I think through interaction and conversation and just kind of observing, you can pick up that, oh, this person is actually being exploited, and they either not aware or whatever the situation is. You need to be very aware of that. Then the next thing you need to note is if you are this color, you need to note people that are this color that would have a problem with you being this color. If you know, you know. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you need to really be aware of those people because a lot of the times those people who are this color are in management positions. And if they have a problem with you being this color, it could really affect your overall experience there and basically affect your entire job. Having said that, if you are walking into the space and there are people that are this color, doesn't automatically mean that those people will have your back or will be on your side. You need to be aware of those that would or that are showing you some type of way or feeling some type of way that you can be aware that this person might just stab me in the back. The fact that we share this color doesn't mean that they're going to be on my side and have my back at all times. So you need to be very aware of this color type of dynamics as well, because it's really going to affect a lot of how you experience that place. You need to note and be aware of your manager's leadership style and leadership way of doing things. Are they a fair person? Are they someone who blatantly clearly has favorites? Are they someone who is sexist? That's also a big one as well. And yeah, you need to be very aware and just know how to handle and deal with your manager or your direct manager. You need to know and be aware of your colleagues, those that are around you that you interact with on a daily. You need to really be mindful and aware of what game they are playing so that you can kind of assert yourself in whatever way and kind of play it within what's happening. I agree. This game is very exhausting. A lot of the times, this game is going to require that you adjust your personality, not necessarily that you change who you are, but if maybe you are someone who always would speak up if there's been a problem, always would speak up and try and share your thoughts or your opinions on, or like if someone upset you directly, like address that. And you're noticing that the game that is being played is a different type of game, maybe you might decide that, oh, actually let me just dial it back, let me not make every single situation an issue so that I can survive in this environment. Different environments call for different behaviors. That's the unfortunate thing, is that sometimes you're going to need to conform in some way towards what's happening. Another thing you need to note is the people that who speak up and they get heard. You need to note the language that they use, who they're speaking to, and the type of things that they're doing so that they are heard, and maybe try and apply the same for yourself. In most cases, or sometimes, direct managers are people that wouldn't really, depending on the situation, but I've heard a lot of situations and seen a lot of situations where direct managers are the ones hindering a person's growth, but then the boss's boss would be the one to like hear the person, give the person opportunities and all of that. And if that's the game that you need to play to get your boss's boss to notice you, then play that game, and follow through in those steps, because a lot of the time your boss's boss doesn't really care, because they're at like 2 levels higher than where you are, whereas your bosses are a level higher than you, and maybe they might feel intimidated and threatened by how you're performing your actions or whatever they thinking is. Okay, then in ending, you need to be aware of meetings. Be very aware during meetings. One, who speaks up during a meeting and everyone pays attention, listens to, values what they have to say. Who speaks up during a meeting and gets questioned on almost everything that they have to say. Who doesn't say anything, doesn't contribute to the meeting. Pay attention to these people and look at where they are in terms of how the bosses interacts with them, in terms of how they're receiving opportunities. A lot of the times, the number one person or the first person who speaks up, listens to, will either be like promoted, be the teachers liked by the managers, that vocal person that always has something to say. Yeah, it's important to note those people. I don't want this video to go on too long. There's more that I could say on the topic, so let me know. But in overall, guys, literally it is all a game. It's all about just being aware. Also before I kind of close off this video, also be aware of, or be cautious of, over familiarity, having clear boundaries, separating personal to private. Be friendly. I mean, I'm not saying be hostile and now no one must know what's happening. If people ask you, oh, how are you doing, how's your weekend, and now you're like grumpy and you don't want to know, I'm not saying do that, but just have personal boundaries and just know where to draw the line for yourself. Because a lot of the times I have seen in some instances where something that you share that is personal with someone can come back and bite you in the back, where that person's going to use that personal information to basically hurt you or not to in your favor type of thing. So just be mindful of who you share information with, how you share that information. I'm not saying be hostile, but just really have clear boundaries. One way that I was able to exert, or I made sure to exert boundaries, was that I never give nicknames to anyone. I always called people by their full names. Even when all those around me would like have nicknames specifically for like manager and stuff, I'd always be direct. And I think that was kind of a way of asserting a certain boundary, that I will call you and address you with your full name. We're not really friends and we are here to do work. I'll be cordial with you, polite, respectful, but there's like that invisible line that I don't know. I mean, it's something silly like someone's name, but that kind of worked for me. Anyway, if you guys are interested in hearing more of my thoughts, I'm thinking of maybe doing a surviving corporate type of series. But yeah, how are you surviving corporate? What are you doing to survive? Maybe also share some tips with others in the comments.